Another one I remember real good. It's a young guy. He got off a plane. I don't know, it was C-130 or what it was. He walked right into the props. We had to go to the airstrip and pick him up. He ran right into the props when he got off the plane.
Not much left of him, was there?
His head was, all he hit his head, and that was it, you know.
That's brutal stuff.
Yeah, it is, you know. And
we're also going to hear these kinds of tales, folks, you know? I mean.
And another one was.
This is what's never talked about. This is what's never covered.
No, because it's not.
Well, it amazes me because if there's an accident on the freeway, everybody's slowing down because they're rubbernecking.
Yeah.
They want to see blood. They want to see some gore.
It's true.
Look at how well horror films do.
Yeah.
The gorier they are, the better they seem to do at the box office.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I can't understand is why this subject has never been adequately covered.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. The only thing we had, we had zip bags we would cover. But if we didn't, we would wrap them with a poncho. You know what poncho is, this thing hole you put it over your head. You know? Wrap them in a poncho if they had one. Other than that, we just put them on the back of the truck and take them to where I could dispose of them. You know, I wasn't always by myself. It was two of us in a group. At the 25th Infantry Division, if one of the battalions in the 25th Infantry Division was out on searching whatever, we knew they were coming back in, so we would go to the airstrip on Cu-Chi, and we wouldn't sit up front on the airstrip. We would sit back in the distance because people didn't want to see it. They keep looking over their shoulder at us, right?
Especially you said two guys, and particularly you knew that you had to prep to ship home?
Yes. Yeah, two of them. Yeah, Cunningham and can't think of the other guy's name now, but he was. Well, they were in my unit in the States, and Cunningham name's here. I got him because we were friends. The other soldier, I know him, but and I saw his body too. Okay. And another soldier came in at a different time. I didn't know this guy. He came down to identify soldiers from his unit so we could classify them or whatever we want to do, right? And it wasn't a week later, I guess a week or two later, he was there. Yeah. Ones that we couldn't embalm because the body was too decomposed, we just put him in a bath.
That was the arterial system and venous system is kaput.
Yeah. We just put him in a bath, and they just, I forget how many hours now. And the floor in the mortuary was flooded because of all the bodies and the drains was stopped up with human hair, skin, the bushes or the whatever was on them was still there. Yeah, it was difficult. And just keeping your heart out of it and your mind out of it, you just blanked it off. And the floor of the mortuary is full of everything that came out the body bags, the grass, the bushes, the weeds, whatever was there. And you walk through the mortuary, and it'd be that deep because the drains are filled up with everything that came out of the bags and the skin, and it was hard work. And we had reporters coming around, trying to get to the back of the mortuary so they could take pictures. So we had to be alert on that, because one time a very attractive.
That's the press for you.
Yeah, a very attractive lady, nice looking lady with blonde hair, and said when they came in the front office, everybody said, "Look, man, look at the front office." So we went to look at the front office while we was out there looking at this beautiful American. They came in the back. He had taken pictures here. In the big garage door type thing where you could get everything in, you know. And it was back there snapping, you know, getting pictures.
So the media were a bunch of hyenas even back then.
Yes, yeah, trying to get the pictures done.
Scum.
But they use a,
Just absolute
you
scum.
know, they use an American. I don't know if she could have been Australian. She could have been Indian. She was not Vietnamese.
Right.
She could have been from Europe. She could have been anywhere. And then we had to go back and run them out of the mortuary. They planned that. We were back in the mortuary. We all young soldiers said, "Man, look up there. That's a beautiful woman." You know, in the front office. So we all went to look, and these guys came in. That kind of stuff. You know, just it was kind of late. Yeah. And sometimes you had to step outside to get fresh air. I got a picture of myself. I couldn't find it today. Where I stepped outside the mortuary to take a breath. And I was holding my stomach. And a guy took a picture of me. And I looked for it today and I couldn't find it. It's in the house somewhere, but I couldn't find it. And I came out of the mortuary and I stood there and he took a picture of me. You know, I just come out of there and the odor, the atmosphere was getting to me. When they told me that I was going to leave the mortuary now and I was going out to support units in the field, that's where I got out of the mortuary. So I went to a lot of different places where the 1st Infantry Division, the 25th Infantry Division, whatever, supply that mission for them. You know, we just flew like that, you know, helicopters, come back, yeah. That's what I did till my date was up.
Well, I thank you for your service. And thank you for coming in. Mm-hmm. Here's to you and every Vietnam veteran.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you did.
Thank you, sir. How did I do? I probably forgot a lot of things that I couldn't tell you.
Not from my perspective. I'm hearing all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I can tell you one other thing. When we first got in country, we went to something called Tent City B. And we had this big tent, this big GP tent, general purpose tent. And one of the guys, he was a young white guy. And got along with him very fine. And we would be sent out to guard entrances to where the Americans were going in and out, like at a BEQ or something like that. We had sandbags all around everything. You know, sometimes I had that duty. A sandbag bunker, and you had a little wire over top of it so that I could throw a grenade at it. And I think there was on one of these little scooters, the Vietnamese ride, the scooter thing, you know, sitting up there. And they shot the guy. You know, he was in my unit. I don't remember his name. I didn't know him that long. But he slept in the same GP tent I stayed in. I slept in. And he got detailed to go out with his rifle, his weapon, to guard entrances coming into the different places where we're supposed to be secure, and concertina wire around it. And they killed him. And I knew this guy too. I don't remember his name, but I got a pair of his boots though. I got a pair of his boots because we wouldn't do nothing with him. He had the right foot size. His boots. They were jungle boots. Yeah, I got those. Yeah. It's so much just faded from my memory, you know. So some things, by talking about this, other things come up, you know, rolling back, and that just happened to pop out of nowhere.
That's how, you know, doing these. Mm-hmm. I tend to ask a few questions and then just shut the hell up, because usually I'll trigger something in whichever veteran I'm talking to, and here it just comes. Mm-hmm. So I do my best to step on my tongue and just shut up, you know, because this is all about you all.
I think,
you know, not me.
If this was years ago, my memory would be a lot better than it is now. Be a lot better. I mean, detail. That's what I'm talking about. Detail.
Trust me, it's not bad at all. Not from where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
I've gotten a real education
Okay.
sitting down and talking with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
I
for
still
filling in.
still
Thank
got
you.
that post-traumatic stress syndrome. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I'm not surprised that you have it.
I still got it. Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
there
all.
with me. When I see movies, about the wars and stuff, like especially the Vietnam War. I've watched anything about the Vietnam War, and I can relate to it. It's just that I went there on the first wave of that night when the president said, "I want these many men moved." That next day, we were packing to go. So I never got a chance to recover from my shoulder injury because I was on certain duty. I couldn't jump. So I was shipped with that quartermaster unit. So I never returned to the 101st Airborne because I was, I couldn't jump anymore. So they didn't need me anymore. So,
Right.
But I was still physical,
Yeah.
but I'm glad it didn't, come to think of it. I always said I'd rather be picking them up than them picking me up. Trying to say, and getting on Army trucks, racing through areas on these Army trucks and APCs, and sometimes you'd hear some da-da-da like that, and sometimes you'd hear something else, and we had these big things in front of the vehicles like this, and it had little crooks on it, so if a wire was across the road, it was on the bumper, and the bumper would, it was some kind of metal. It would bend like this, that way, whatever. When you're driving, if you had a Jeep, because a lot of time my windshields were down, And if you had your windshield down on the Jeep, and they put a string across, it's going to cut your head off. So, and then you had to worry about booby traps, that kind of stuff. Almost every time I would leave Cu Chi, going to take bodies into the mortuary, I'd see a truck that been blown up. A deuce and a half or whatever, 3/4 ton truck or something, And sometimes I went on rice harvesting missions I wish I could have had this opportunity some 25, 30 years ago, whatever. If nobody wanted to hear it, but my memory would have been a lot sharper. I've never really talked about the war too much until I got to the vet center. When I joined the vet center in Annapolis. And I was encouraged to join the vet center by another Vietnam veteran that he's died since then. He said, man, please go to the vet center. And he was in Vietnam also. And he said, man, you got to go to the vet center. And so I went down to the vet center in Annapolis and I got in a group and that's when I started flowing. Because the guys around me, none of them were morticians, so to speak. Those did what I was doing. I wasn't a mortician.
They could really understand what you went
but
through.
they had no idea when I would talk. And they would just be looking, They experienced death of their own buddies they served with in their own units. But they didn't know what happened after that,
Yours is a very small club.
Yes.
Very small.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised. Have you ever met anybody else who ever served? Okay, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very small club.
Mm-hmm.
You've got veterans, which are already a small club.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your graves registration personnel, who are an even smaller club.
Yes.
So I take my hat off to you. I salute you, sir. I mean,